Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from the Singapore Fintech Festival, and joining me for this segment, we have Robin Yang, Board Director and Group CFO with SCI Ecommerce. We're going to talk about the next generation of software-enabled digital e-commerce. It is great to have you with us, Robin. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me, Jill.
And let's talk about the next gen of software-enabled e-commerce. What exactly are we talking about there?
You know, when we talk about the next generation of the digital-enabled e-commerce, we are essentially talking about the network and the platform we have been building in SCI for the last decades, to connect all the stakeholders in the value chain of the digital commerce. We are talking about e-commerce platforms, we are talking about brand partners, merchants, and the vendors, of course, and the end consumers. And here in this part of the world, we have been building the vast network by connecting basically all the major e-commerce platforms and the social media platforms in both Southeast Asia, different countries, and China, and by providing the best and most effective, efficient way for the brand partners and the merchants to reach their customers and the vendors in different markets in Southeast Asia and in China cross-borderly. Nowadays, SCI, we are building this network to helping more than 300 different brand partners and merchants all over the world to provide the best product in Southeast Asia and China. So when you think about the digital commerce optimizers in, let's say, 20, 25 years, you think about Google, because at that point of time, people are looking for the products using search engines. And the brands, the merchants, they use advertisement, online advertisement, to reach to their end consumers. And then when things move to, like, say, 10, 15 years ago, when Shopify, those companies start to provide the technology tools for the independent sites, for you as the merchant, as the brand, to reach to the direct consumers in a most effective way using independent sites, .com sites. And now moving to the nowadays e-commerce, digital commerce, we are looking at the efficient way, meaningful ways to connect everyone. As I mentioned, that's not only about the e-commerce platforms, that's not about the e-commerce brand partners, but everyone in the same ecosystems. We are talking about the brands, vendors, and consumers in different countries, in different channels, not only in one single channel, but omni-channel strategy.
Yeah. One thing we've been discussing when it comes to fintech startups is, of course, profitability, especially as we've gone through the market downturn. Is SCI profitable? And if so, how did you achieve what's really been a rare milestone, and what sustains the momentum?
Joe, I think that nowadays SCI is one of the largest e-commerce solution provider in the region, as well as one of the fastest growing company in the region. I think in the last 4 or 5 years, if you look at the company, SCI has been growing the revenue for over a couple of hundred times already, just about 4 to 5 years. And today, we are still remain the similar growth momentum at today's scale and the size. We have been cash flow positive and also profitable since 2019, which is a real milestone, as you said,
right,
among the region's fastest growing internet companies. When it comes to the sustainable way to achieve the high growth rate, but at the same time maintain your profitability, I would take that as two parts. Number one, the infrastructure of the technology advantage. Over the years, over the last decades, as I mentioned, we have been built one of the largest meta network by connecting all the major e-commerce channels, platforms, social media platforms, and the sales channels in both Southeast Asia, different countries, across ASEAN and China cross-border. And I would say today, probably you won't be able to find anything like that in this region. And that provides a meaningful and most effective way for the brands, merchants can reach to their consumers and customers no matter which countries they are in, directly, instantly. And number two, I would think about the special know-how and the locality, local expertise in Southeast Asia. And that's very relevant to Southeast Asia context, because when we talk about Southeast Asia as a whole, we're literally talking about 6 to 7 different entities, different countries, different markets. Every market has a very different dynamic, infrastructure, regulatory compliance, and also customer base. How to navigate into these more and more complicated online world in Southeast Asia become more and more meaningful topic for each and every brands and merchants who want to be successful in this part of the world. And SCI has been there to help them to really navigate the complexity of the ecosystem like today.
All right, and finally, Robin, what are the plans for the future with SCI?
I think we strongly believe in Southeast Asia market, which is the fastest growing e-commerce market in the world right now. And I would say this market, although it's expanding very fast, but it's still at a relatively early stage. So I think as a company, as a leading player in this part of the world, we will continue expanding our market share, keep investing in the R&D, because we truly believe that the technology is the true driver of this business. And going forward, I think we are just trying our best to provide the best technology, products, and services to over 2 billion population in Southeast Asia and China, in this part of the world.
All right, appreciate the insight, Robin. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.